So, you know, going to Israel, post high school is, the right thing to do, at least in my eyes, correct? Just that way you can get more familiar and get closer with God, okay? Now, for someone that's been in Israel for a while, okay, and, they're just trying to grow, keep improving, getting closer to Hashem, working on their midot, becoming a better yid in
Amen.
general, right? So, what if a parent or parents, if you will, right, decide, they're okay with you going 1 year, and then it comes a second year, they're not so sure. Now comes a third year, and they're saying like, no, we insist on you going to college. You could do yeshiva here as well. What's the point of going to Israel when, the whole point of them teaching you is how to insist your whole, Judaism aspect and, work it out with your daily life now in Miami, New York, wherever you are.
Right.
How do you go upon that where, your parents aren't so affiliated and they're not necessarily allowing you to go for what you want? Like if I want to go back to Israel, let's say.
Right.
And they're not, they're not allowing
They're
me
not big fans.
Yeah.
What do you do, in so many words, when you're trying to get closer to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, but the people around you that you love, your parents, your brothers, your sisters, they're not so much on the same train as you. They say, listen, Chazaku Baruch for doing what you're doing, Chazakau Bucha for doing what you're doing, but do what you got to do. We're not doing it. We're not on the same train. We want to do something else. We're on a different train. But now, if you're married, you're already on a completely different train, a completely different path. You no longer have to, in essence, do what your parents say. You have to honor them, but that doesn't mean that you have to make your life decisions based on them. Once you're married, your obligation first goes to your spouse. Now, when you're not married and you're living under somebody else's roof, which means that most of the time they're paying the bill for some things, that unfortunately limits you. Not because you have to listen to them, but because you have to listen to them. Meaning, they're paying the bill. Now, going to Eretz Yisrael is not by default better. Going to America is not by default better. No, going nowhere is by default better. Better means that you're going to go to a place that's going to help you live a life that's closer to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Now, some people, they come to America, they come to Mitzrayim over here, and for some reason, something wakes them up and they start becoming more religious here. After they become more religious here, they want to go do Aliyah, go back to Eretz Yisrael. There's more yeshivot, there's more kollels, there's more kedusha there. They move to Eretz Yisrael, and Hashem Yerachem, what ends up happening is they deteriorate. They start feeling at home, everybody speaks Hebrew, and they go back to their old friends, and sometimes they deteriorate. Not all the time, but sometimes, and it happens more than a few times, enough to mention it. So for them, it was a horrible decision to move to Eretz Yisrael. On the other hand, somebody else that wants to move to Eretz Yisrael, doesn't know anybody over there, but he wants to move to Eretz Yisrael because he says, listen, it's Eretz HaKodesh, it's this, it's that, great. What about your significant other? Does she want to go? Does he want to go? Well, no, not really. Oh, so that means that if you move, it's going to create shlom bayit problems. Okay, so that already, going to Eretz Yisrael is not good. Why? You're not allowed to sacrifice your marriage for the sake of living in Eretz Yisrael. In fact, it's one of the main things that you're allowed to leave Eretz Yisrael for is for a zivug. So if you already have a zivug, you're not allowed to ruin it and create problems, create tension as a result of going to Eretz Yisrael. Or perhaps you have a job. You're making a living here. You're making an honest living and you want to go to Eretz Yisrael, but over there, there's no chance in the world you're going to get a job or be able to sustain yourself. So what are you going to do? Oh, I don't know, Be'ezrat Hashem. Okay, if you're at that level that Be'emet, you believe what you say, that Be'ezrat Hashem, everything's going to be okay, and you're not going to you're not going to start crying, 3 weeks into it when you can't afford anything, then go. But if you're alone on the ship, you have emunah, but the rest of your family doesn't have emunah, you're not allowed to do it. Meaning that by default, going to Eretz Yisrael is not necessarily the right decision or the wrong decision. Now, Baruch Hashem, when you are single and you're young, you're able to make a lot more mistakes. Why? Because you're only responsible really for yourself. Now, if you have an intention to go to Eretz Yisrael, because you're going to go learn, you're going to become even more religious over there, then the only thing that you need to do is convince the world around you that that's what you really believe. The woman that I spoke to today, she's having a problem. Why? She started doing tshuva a couple of years ago, but her husband is still like, he's still on the retarded train. And he's still on the retarded train. He still plays with his phone and the computer on Shabbat. And, he's still not sure if you're allowed to drive. So once in a while he drives. He's still not there. His wife is keeping Shabbat, Kisurosh, everything. But he's still doesn't get the point yet. So I told her, send him this video. I have a movie that our team made, Baruch Hashem. It's called Shabbat. Shabbat the movie. It's 17 minutes. It's like a thriller. But it gives you 17-minute shock of what Shabbat really means if you keep it or if you don't keep it. Meaning, if you heard it and you believe in the Torah, after you finish that 17 minutes, you don't keep Shabbat, you have to take you to a mental institution. Why? Because something's wrong with you. Something's wrong with you. So I told her, send him this video. Why? It's a good video. It's, it has some action in it, some fire, some blow-ups, cool stuff. It's one of our movies. And it has a lot of sources. You can double-check everything. But nonetheless, it's something that gets to the point quickly. You don't have to watch a 2-hour shiur. It's 17 minutes, beginning to end, we get there. So God bless her. She says, no, this is too scary. I like to go the, slower and easier, and I think that approach is better. I said, I'm sorry, but you're wrong. I disagree. Because if she has a few kids. I said, if your kids, they're little, they want to run to the electric socket because the electric socket looks like a really cool place to put your finger in it. It does, actually. It does, but until there's electricity there. Now, when you're little, you want to put there's wires, there's like free wires because there's construction. Those wires look like something to chew on. Why? They're green, they're yellow, they're blue. That looks like a candy. I want to chew on it. But once you chew on it, it's the last thing you're going to chew. So if you saw your kid about to go chew one of those wires, stick his finger in there, or run into moving traffic, are you also going to go slow? No, honey, don't go there. Oh, no. Oh, take that out of your mouth. It's too late. It's too late. You can't go slow and steady and sugarcoat things when life is in danger. Needless to say, if you're going to protect the body because of that approach, that's right away giving him a shockwave where you tell him, listen, don't touch it or else you're going to die. And if I have to hit you to get the point, in order to save you, that's what I'm going to do. If I have to hit you with a shockwave to make sure that you stay away from danger, that's what I'm going to do. Why? Because I want to save your life. I'd rather hurt you a little bit in order to save your life. Needless to say with the neshama, when a person violates Shabbat, when a person is making big sins of the Torah, they are literally destroying their neshama. Each time they make a sin, it's as if there's an atomic bomb going off in their olam haba that HaKadosh Baruch Hu designated for them. Every Jew has a share of the world to come. Every one of them does. You come here to this world with a ticket in your hand. The problem is, what's it going to look like when you get there? Once you get there, if you've made a lot of sins, that means you've had millions of atomic bombs in this olam haba. So all you have is fire. And that's all you have for the rest of eternity. But if you read mitzvah, kept Shabbat, you kept everything, then your olam haba is fantastic. So that means that the slow approach doesn't work at all. At all, at all. Especially not for a stubborn generation like we have today. Now, so to finalize the answer, why is it that her husband is still not keeping Shabbat a couple of years into it? Why is it that this is a very common case where a lot of people are doing tshuva, but their family, their friends are still lagging behind? The reason is, Rabotai, with all due respect to everybody who's doing tshuva, is that the world around you is not buying it. They're not buying your tshuva. They don't believe that your tshuva is real yet. Because you're not standing up for it. You're not fighting for it. If it was so real that somebody that violates Shabbat is going to get a death penalty, how come you're not like yelling at me? Or like doing something to stop me? If it's really real that immodesty, every time a person is immodest, HaKadosh Baruch Hu cries because he has to punish him or her for that. How come you're not telling me on a regular basis? Why you stay quiet? Meaning that when you don't tell the world around you the truth on a regular basis, either with your mouth or with the click of a button by sending them a video or sharing some email or a book or something, then the world around you is just simply not going to buy that you're really into it. They just think it's like a trend. It's like you're going through a phase, especially when you're young. When you're 18, 19 years old, just so you know, no one listens to you by default. Why? Because you're 18, 19 years old. By default, no one's going to listen to you. Why? Because you're 18, 19 years old. Now, yes, you're smart, but in their eyes, they remember that they used to change your diaper just a few years ago. In their eyes, they remember just a few years ago they were paying your tuition. In their eyes, you didn't go through life yet. Who are you to tell me what? Who are you to tell me this? So what happens is, the only way to get the world around you to buy into your tshuva is to fight for it, is to stand for it, is to tell the world around you not just what you're doing, but why you're doing it. Meaning that if your parents tell you, my dear son Noach, we love you. We don't see the reason that you should go to Eretz Yisrael and learn. We think you should go to college, go to Florida over here, and join the rest of the naked people walking on campus. Go to California over there, and over there they forgot there's no clothing stores. Go to all of these colleges that teach kfirah, that teach heresy by heretics. Go over there. Noach, what is he going to do, Noach? What did Noach do in the Torah? He stood up for the truth. He said, what? I'm either going to stand for the truth or I'm going to die. Meaning, going to college, Ima, Abba, I love you, it's not an option. Meaning, me going to Eretz Yisrael, that's up to you. Why? Because you're going to pay for it. So I don't have to go to Eretz Yisrael because I don't have the money. But going to college here, it's not happening. Why? I don't want to destroy my neshama. I have no interest in entering Gehinom. No interest whatsoever. Now, you want me to go get higher education, if you will? Online college. I'll stay home all day in my pajamas. Go on a computer, type in a few things, log in, read whatever I need to read just to waste 4 years of my life on the computer. Get some degree that I can't really use in actual life. Waste a bunch of your money for no reason whatsoever, but I'll make you happy. But at least I'm not going to Gehinom. At least I'm not going to go to Gehinom. Going to a campus, going to a college, never happening. And by the way, Rabotai, I'm sorry to tell you, this also includes the religious colleges. This also includes the religious colleges now. From the things that I'm hearing of what's happening in these so-called religious colleges, I don't know what parent that has Yirat Shamayim will allow his kid to go there. I don't know. I don't know how you could go to that place and not sin. Not have a boyfriend, girlfriend, not become a heretic. I don't know how you can't. I'm telling you, Moshe Rabbeinu goes to these colleges, he's not coming out Moshe Rabbeinu. He's coming out like some Jose or something. He's not coming out Moshe Rabbeinu. Why? It's a place, it's Sodom and Gomorrah, these colleges. It's Sodom and Gomorrah. It's not. I mean, there's girls, there's guys. Oh, I don't. So that means you have to say, listen, no problem. Israel, you're paying for it. You don't have to pay for it. No problem. But going to college, here, no chance in the world. That means that you're standing up for something. Once you stand up for something, it's not about getting into a fight with your parents. You love my parents. You say with respect. You say with a different tone than I use. I'm using it to get your attention. You're going to use a different tone. Always remember they're your parents. Always remember you have to thank them and literally kiss their feet if you have to, just to show them that you love them. But remember, you are not allowed to sacrifice your neshama for the sake of honoring your parents. There's no permission in the Torah for that. That's why Kadosh Baruch Hu says, fear your mom and your dad, keep Shabbat, I am your God. Why is this strange order? Yes, you have to honor your mom and your dad. It says mom first because we get used to our moms. We're with our moms a lot more than our dads usually. So we forget that we're supposed to also fear our mothers. He says, fear your mom and your dad. But keep Shabbat, I'm God. What's the one thing I have to do with the other? Yes, you have to honor your parents. But remember, if your parents tell you to go drive to the store for me on Shabbat, I'm God. You're not allowed to listen to your parents. I'm bigger than your parents. If your parents tell you to go do something against me, against the Kadosh Baruch Hu, not allowed to do it. But you have to do it in a nice way, in a gentle way, in a respectful way. But at the same time, you have to stand for something. If you stand for something, the world around you will change and it'll say, you know what? You're religious. You're a real religious guy. Why? You're a real religious. Why? You're standing for it. It's not the clothes. It's not the hat. It's not the beard. You're standing for it. There's a lot of people that pretend to be religious. Very few are standing up for it. Why? As soon as there's like a little test, money test, girl test, this test, that test, they break like somebody that's an atheist. So the point is you have to stand for it. And again, remember, with your parents, you have to honor them. Last but not least advice, and I'll take the question from the back, is you have to show the world around you that the Torah that you're learning is not only improving you as a human being, but it's also making you happy. Which means that if you walk around like some sad dog that somebody stole his bone all day, you're in depression all day, guess what? No one wants to join your ship. Why? They say, well, you got religious, you got depressed. I don't want to be depressed. Meaning you have to learn Torah, but you have to show people that it's making you happy, it's improving your life, and little by little, you are getting to a point where you become the person that other people are admiring. I want to be like him. I want to be like her. Not because him or her per se, but because they're standing up for something and it's making them happy.